Two mathematicians have modeled Bitcoin since its inception, and it's amazing that the price actually follows a controlled mathematical law, which is a log of the time and a log of the price, and it fits with a 94% R-squared predictability. And what that means is anyone who's into statistics knows that if you have two numbers that correlate to one another in a 94% correlation, that's actually a useful model. And that model shows that Bitcoin in 2032 will be $1 million a coin. It's going up forever, Laura. It went from 1 to 10. It went from 10 to 100. It went from 100 to 1,000. It went from 1,000 to 10,000, from 10,000 to 100,000. The next step is to go from 100,000 to 1 million, and then it's going to go from 1 million to 10 million. And in 2032, there'll be people saying, "Oh my God, you bought some at 100,000? It's at $1 million now?"
Yeah.
Damn, I'm really pissed off I missed the 100,000. I think what people don't understand here is that with a limited supply of 21 million and everything in the world ultimately denominated in Bitcoin, I would echo what Michael Saylor once said about it in a rather famous interview where he said, "It's going up forever, Laura."
If you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right.
And it went from 1 to 10. It went from 10 to 100. It went from 100 to 1,000. It went from 1,000 to 10,000, from 10,000 to 100,000. The next step is to go from 100,000 to 1 million, and then it's going to go from 1 million to 10 million. If you're interested in this process, there's a very good book called Bitcoin 1 Million, written by Fred Krueger and Ben Seligman, which is an excellent book, and it describes the power law, which two mathematicians have modeled Bitcoin since its inception. And it's amazing that the price actually follows a controlled mathematical law, which is a log of the time and a log of the price. And it fits with a 94% R-squared predictability. And what that means is anyone who's into statistics knows that if you have two numbers that correlate to one another in a 94% correlation, that's actually a useful model. And that model shows that Bitcoin in 2032 will be $1 million a coin. At the mean point. Now, one thing I should emphasize is that there's a mean curve based on that model, and it does fluctuate around that mean curve. And actually, it's interesting. The mean curve right now shows fair value is about 125, 130. So we're actually
They're on sale.
Yeah, they're on sale. We're actually below the mean, and sometimes it trades over the mean, sometimes below. But the point is that this is not just some random walk upward in price. And looking back historically, the ARR, annual rate of return on Bitcoin from inception, has been running in about the 40% rate. And as adoption matures, that'll come down from 40% to 30%. But if you were in the investment business and somebody said to you, "I can give you an investment that will on average return 30% a year for the next 20 or 30 years, you would take that all day long. It's a complete no-brainer. There's nothing comparable. The answer is you're not too late. I mean, obviously, it would have been better if you bought it earlier. But the best time, it's like planting a tree. The best time to do it was 10 years ago. Second best time is today. And in 2032, there'll be people saying, "Oh my God, you bought some at 100,000? It's at $1 million now?"
Yeah.
Damn, I'm really pissed off I missed the 100,000.
Something called Metcalfe's law that says the power of a network is equal to the square of the number of users of the network. So we're at a point where different estimates, maybe there's 100 million Bitcoin users, maybe there's 300 million Bitcoin users, but there's 8 billion people in the world.
Right.
So we're still at a very, very low level of adoption, and the price will follow the network adoption ultimately.
Right.
So not too early.
It really is like cell phone adoption or PC adoption. I mean, I remember back in the day when, who was the guy who ran DEC Computer, Ken something or other. You'll remember his name. You know what I'm talking about?
Griff.
No, Ken Griffin's the financial guy.
Right.
Yeah. Now, anyway, the guy who ran DEC back in the day was building mini computers,
right.
And the PC came out, and he said, "Well, there'll be need for a couple hundred of these things."
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and I thought, that doesn't seem right to me. I'm guessing that this is going to be pretty useful. A lot of people are going to need them.
Yep.
And it's the same kind of adoption curve here. I mean, I think we're in a situation where everybody in the world is going to need Bitcoin, and because if you're listening to this and you're just becoming aware of it, you're actually kind of ahead of a lot of people in the world. So you can think to yourself, "I'm too late," but really you're not. You're earlier than most.
Yeah.
And so hop on board and let time do its thing. And as you'll see, as time does its thing, that it's going to continue going up. Whenever I'm orange pilling somebody who's a newbie into the space, I say and quite often they'll say to me, how much of it should I buy? And I counter back with a question. I say, well, let me ask you this. What's a number to buy that you would be very comfortable if it went down 50%? And if it went down, because it has in the past, this has gone down 50%, sometimes a little more. And so, and I don't think it's going to be doing that more going forward. I think that volatility is going to decrease. But I say buy an amount where if the amount you bought and it went down 50%, you'd be thinking to yourself, oh, this is great. I can buy some more, rather than, oh my God, I made a mistake. I've got too much in this thing. I got to sell it before I lose more money. Because it really does, the volatility is the drawback. And it really is important that you hold it through a couple of cycles. Because that's how you take that's how you gain from the higher prices in the future. You need to research it, understand it, start buying it in a small amount, and as your conviction grows, keep adding to your stack. My financial advisor told me not to buy Bitcoin. Should I listen to them?
I have very little respect for those folks that have been pushing people away for years and years and years. And I would say especially over the last handful of years, if your guys hasn't gotten it. And
I think the most important thing to understand here is to ask yourself, what are the incentives of your financial advisor? Generally speaking, financial advisors are brokers at Morgan Stanley or other big brokerage houses, and they get paid either to manage your money for a fee or to manage it for commission. Very often commission particularly they get extra fees if they put you in certain mutual funds. And there really is no commission in Bitcoin. If you buy an ETF, there's a very small annual fee you pay. It's about 30 basis points or 1/3 of 1% for holding that. But they don't share in that. And so that doesn't really benefit them. So I would say to you, one reason financial advisors aren't likely to offer it to you or suggest it to you is it's not in their best interest. They don't make any money for doing it. The second important thing to do is to ask them if they really understand it. Have they read the books? Have they studied it? Do they know what it is? Do they understand why it's digital gold? Is their answer as simple as it's volatile and therefore I don't want to talk about it? Because if that's the answer, they haven't done the work. This is a new thing, and therefore a lot of people don't understand it. And so just out of general fear, they're gonna shun it. They're not incentivized to push it. They won't. We make money in the sense that if we bring more people into the fold, then it creates more demand. The network becomes more valuable. But that's pretty subdued. Yeah, no, we're all working on the same team to turn this into this, the base layer of money, which I think it will happen.
Bitcoin, in my humble opinion, as a novice, non-financial advisor, is the only money that's going to hold out over decades and centuries. And someone who plans to live into 200, that's kind of important to me. It's not too late to the game. Another way to phrase it is people who bought at $1 said they were late because they could have got it in at a nickel. The people who bought at $100 said they were late because they could have got it in at $1. Bitcoin is very volatile, but that's why it does what it does.
If your financial advisor ignored the best performing asset, I believe it's 11 of the last 15 years, and told you not to buy, instead of doing what they said, you should consider whether or not they were grossly negligent and you've got a lawsuit involved.
Hey, I am Maria with Daily Dose Crypto. Have you noticed that gold, silver, and Bitcoin have hit all-time highs recently? Is this a coincidence, or are smart investors onto something? The dollar is depreciating, inflation is eating up all of our cash, and the US national debt is through the roof, hitting new highs every day. That's why people are shifting to alternative assets like gold, silver, and Bitcoin. We at Daily Dose Crypto have partnered with iTrust Capital, your one-stop platform to buy and securely store 80+ digital assets, including Bitcoin, gold, and silver to hedge your future against debasement. With over 200,000 accounts, 15 billion in transactions, and 11,000 plus positive reviews, they're helping real investors build long-term wealth with their tax advantage, IRA, and PCA, which is a premium custody account that supports the highest level of custody and security in the space. They do this all with institutional-grade custody through partners like Fidelity Digital, Fireblocks, and Coinbase Prime, keeping your assets secure while you can trade 24/7. Fees are just 1% per transactions with no monthly or annual costs. Getting started is simple. Sign up for free and fund an IRA or PCA today. You'll receive a $100 bonus and start growing your assets the smart way. Click the link below to open your account now and begin your journey toward generational wealth.
I don't understand the technology. How can I invest in something I don't understand? You don't necessarily understand how TCP/IP works either, but you use the internet and it just works. There are deep technical levels to this thing, and there are lots of questions to be asked. But on Twitter and on, by reading books, Broken Money by Lynn Alden is another great one. By reading these things, you will come to see what we've all seen, which is that it does work. It is immutable. It's proven now over 16 plus years and multiple order of magnitude price and value increases, such that we're no longer dealing with this is an experiment, maybe it won't work. We're now in this thing is being adopted. Nation states are adopting it. Nation states are mining it. Governments are endorsing it. Wall Street has endorsed it. There are ETFs. It's no longer a fringe movement. It's now an emerging technology, very much the way that I remember the first cell phone came out, the one that Michael Douglas carried around in Wall Street.
You done good, but you got to keep doing it.
My boss had one of those. It was 50 cents a minute. And he was important enough that he could pay 50 cents a minute to talk on the cell phone. And of course, now we all do it for a fraction of that. And we're well beyond the 50 cent a minute stage, but we're still in the very early adopter stage. Not everybody owns or holds Bitcoin, but I think everybody will eventually. And we've just got to go up that adoption curve.
It takes a while to understand Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I respect somebody that wants to start the quest, and I would say, yeah, don't invest frivolously. Don't invest, but it's not that hard to get, I think, an understanding at the level where you should invest. And Larry's book is a good place to start. The Big Print, books like The Price of Tomorrow,
The Bitcoin
Standard. There's plethora of videos out there on YouTube. And I think you can get enough understanding to know that the current system is broken and that Bitcoin is an answer.
As you come to understand it, you will have many very good questions, like why is it secure? How is it governed? How do we know that the cap's not going to change? I mean, we've all asked these questions and had these legitimate concerns, and they've been answered to our satisfaction, but you should listen to the answers as you study it, and I think they'll become apparent to you as well. What if the government bans Bitcoin? This is an interesting one. The only thing they could do to really slow it down would be to tax it very heavily or try to tax transactions not heavily. But the horse has left the barn, and we now have hundreds of millions of users. We now have nodes all over the world. We now have mining operations all over the world, and it's too late. We have ETFs. We have Wall Street supporting it. We've got a lot of people with a lot of power and a lot of money who are behind it. And so I think the odds of it, there was a time when this was probably one of the good arguments against it. Oh, that's a nice idea, but the government's going to shut that down. But that was years ago. It'd be like saying, what if the government bans the internet? Somebody would start off another TCP/IP node and off we'd go and we'd recreate it. So I think the odds of that are pretty slim.
They could have banned Bitcoin. When we say the government, I assume we're talking about the U.S.
Let's take the U.S. government as
the
an
U.S.
example.
government.
Yeah.
They could have banned Bitcoin at one point, I would say probably in the first 24 months, and maybe could have squished it.
Right.
The hash power of the network is now greater than if you took all the computing power of Amazon, Google, Microsoft, the U.S. government, the Chinese government, you put it all together. They would still be off by orders of magnitude in being able to stop the network. So you could ban the network, you could ban Bitcoin, and you could make it difficult for the on-ramps and the off-ramps, but you can't stop it. And just to be clear, even the internet doesn't stop it. It would slow it down, but it would not stop it.
Yeah, the files would still be there if you're transacting.
No, beyond that. The transactions could still occur. We could use mesh networks. We could use ham radio. We could use...
Person to person.
Yeah. And it would have been cumbersome. It would
big time.
It would not. It would be a real problem.
Yeah.
By the way, your banks and your phones would stop working as well.
Right. If the internet were shut down.
If the internet were shut down,
Yeah,
right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah.
So it seems unlikely.
It's unlikely.
My kids keep telling me to buy Bitcoin. Since when do I take financial advice from my children? I think we're moving into a digital world. Everything has become much more digital. The analog is slowly fading. The use of cash is fading. Certainly gold, transactions faded long ago. And, kids are just, they're good at adopting the new trends, seeing what's coming on. They're very comfortable.
Stop. You don't have time. Don't miss out this 2025 bull run. Educate yourself first ahead of the crowd. We have created the ultimate step-by-step crypto cheat guide that will guide you this bull run. Unlock the secrets of crypto and make smarter investments today. Now by clicking on the link below to get your exclusive copy just under $10.